Hello guys, my name is Astrid and I'm doing a bit of presentation for the book that I chose, Alone Together, where we expect more from technology and less from each other. The author is Sherry Turkle. Sherry Turkle is a professor of social studies of sciences at MIT. She is a licensed psychologist. Her newest book, Reclaiming Conversation, is a New York Times bestseller. 20 years ago, about 1997, she wrote The Life on the Screen. She had a very optimistic attitude towards technology and how it was created to help humans, but on Alone Together, she changes her tone drastically. So the book is divided into two parts. The first part talks about how robotic objects have living characteristics. An example is Roxy, a $7,000 recreational sex robot. This part mostly talks about relationships. She is not okay with humans having sexual relationships with robots. She believes it has to be with human to human, not human to robot. Another part is about communication. So there seems to be a lack of communication between those people that are living in senior homes. She believes that those who are living at senior homes should have communication with their family members, but instead they're giving pet robots to console their loneliness at the care homes. Let's see. The second part of the book is talking about health. She is talking about people who are coping with their addiction to the internet. She interviews people from many different races and ages, and at the end of the results, she finds out that we're all basically being controlled by technology. She also talks about these web confessions, like a sort of an online community where people get to express what they feel, how their day was, and she talks about those people who talk about committing illegal actions, how the website doesn't do anything to stop them from committing them. She thinks that it's very unhealthy for our bodies. And those people who have a hard time communicating with their family members, so they would much rather do it through social media or technology, or basically learning how to be that way instead of having communications with their loved ones. So she talks about anxiety and how it's actually growing and growing more thanks to technology. The third part is social paradigms. I felt like her tone during the whole book was as a structural functionalist. They feel like everyone has to put in their part in society in order to make it work. Socialization, learning, and social placement is very important for them in a society to have. They also have a hard time adjusting to social change. I believe that Ms. Turkle is definitely not okay with humans having sexual relationships with robots. If people were to have relationships with robots, how would humans reproduce? It would be totally different from what we're having now. Okay, so now a reviewer's thoughts. John Lehrer from the New York Times describes the book as fascinating. He wonders why people still manage to get on social media, knowing it's really hard to avoid it. Which I do have a hard time getting off social media. It's so hard. Okay, Rachel Burr from The Guardian believes that our humanity is coming to a robotic movement. Like Turkle, Burr cringes at the idea that humans in the future will accept robots as their lifetime companions. Project Muse's Chigusa Kira thinks Turkle's books have a historical value because they see a record of changes to how we see computers. Kira is Japanese, and Turkle used a lot of examples of Japanese people, how much they value robots just as much as we should value humans. As a Japanese person, she stated, it seemed to me the author treated some near-extreme examples from Japan as representative, when actually caring robots are still cutting edge and could be bizarre to ordinary people, even in Japan. Kira believes that Japanese people, like any other people, have the right to be fascinated and excited to use robots in the world. Kira then stated that the book was worth to read for any historians who want to understand what it means that computing is now pervasive rather than novel. So now what I thought of the book. The book overall made me realize how much time I actually spent on technology. I am guilty that I would much rather text a person and call them than to see them in person. Mostly because I feel like I don't have time to meet with them and see how they're feeling. And technology really is making us seem like narcissist people because we only care about ourselves instead of valuing how another person is doing. And I must admit that the first thing that I do when I wake up is look at my phone, and the last thing that I do before I go to bed is look at my phone. So I'm gonna change that. Now for my additional resources or sources, I do talk about, the book does talk about relationship, health, and communications. So Dr. Likerman's view of technology is that it is negatively affecting our relationships. He states that those people who have electronic relationships are having a hard time finding the difference in real human relationships from an internet relationship, causing them to have a sense of isolation when a person is too involved in the internet. Pamela DeLoach's article states that children who use technology every day have a higher risk of reaching obesity. GoodTherapy.org uses recent research from the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine that examined that depression rates in younger adults is higher than those who do not use social media. Okay, and then UCLA's Digital Humanities states that technology is being used more than ever, but is stopping us from having human interaction. Okay, I have a perfect example. I would much rather be on Netflix than go out and hang out with my friends. Again, I will change that. Okay, and Brianna Winches from San Diego State University had examples on how technology negatively affects our society. One example that she stated was during social gatherings, everyone resorts to staring at their phone. Social engagement and talking to one another is minimal compared to how often people check Instagram and Snapchat on their phones. Very true. So overall, the author wanted to emphasize how important it is for humans to have human interaction. So I went ahead and did this little activity. I made a poster. The pink flap is about health. The yellow flap is about relationships. And the green one is about communications, which are the 3 topics that the author talks about. I also did an about the author paragraph, and I did a little paragraph of what I thought of the book. So what I did is I took this poster and I walked around the mall. Yes, it was very awkward. And I asked people see what they thought about. I asked them to pick whatever topic they wanted to talk about, and they answered questions. Underneath each flap there are questions. I wrote about 3 or 2. And a lot of them did not want to participate. So overall, my results were that people were not for technology in relationships. They believe that it is distracting us from having our human interactions. It is causing our health to deteriorate. We much rather be on our phones than to go out for a run or do some activity that will help our physical body. And although there's one participant who said that technology should be used in schools because due to any actions, you just have to see it. It's really funny. Okay, so if you guys want to go ahead and click on the other link that I posted, and you guys get to see the results of the interviews. Overall, this was a very fun activity. I had a really fun time reading the book, and made me realize how much I spend on technology, how much time I spend on technology. So I'm definitely going to change that. And I posted some questions. If you guys want to answer them, you're more than welcome to. Thank you so much for watching my video. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye bye.